Did someone want to drink the water?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll serve it.
That's good for me.
We will.
You can serve us up a glass of water.
I'll tell you, we believe in science, so we don't feel like we're being your guinea pig, but we don't mind proving to you that we believe the waters.
Okay,
Here's
thank
to
you. I
Caroline.
appreciate that.
Here's to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Awesome.
That's good.
The government is following the science again. I remember the good old days of following the science. Let's turn it over to Mandy Gunasekara. She's the former EPA chief of staff and an environmental lawyer. So should we trust the EPA if they say the water is safe?
Certainly not in this instance, Jesse, and my heart goes out to the people of East Palestine that deserve better. They need a president and an EPA that has their back, and this administration has refused to meaningfully show up when it matters. They're saying to trust them, but they're not sharing any of the pertinent information. And that's because they didn't show up to control the disaster when it mattered most. They didn't show up to coordinate between all the officials involved in a meaningful way. And then they didn't show up to establish a clear line of communication to try and build up that public trust. So yeah, the citizens in that area, they are right to be skeptical. And this administration has done nothing to allay those concerns.
What does it tell you where Jesse Watters, Rosie O'Donnell, and Jon Stewart are all saying don't trust the government?
Yeah, I think that it shows the extent of this bungled approach from the Biden administration. And Jesse, we know a thing or two about how to actually respond in these situations. When I was at EPA, there was a lead water concern that came about in Newark, New Jersey. What we did is we immediately sent people out there. We set up a task force so that there was a clear line of communication from the city all the way to headquarters in Washington, D.C., and everyone in between. And that's what people expect. That's why these institutions were actually created. That's not what we've seen in these instances. And you're seeing everyone from Rosie O'Donnell to Jon Stewart showing up and speaking out because they are so upset with how this administration is trying to ignore the needs of the people of East Palestine that are dealing with the serious harm of a toxic train derailment that has created so many problems, an administration more interested in optics than taking care of them. An administration more interested in running away from their failures, like President Biden going to Ukraine instead of taking care of the people in East Palestine, Ohio, which is where he should be, as should Mayor Pete, as should the EPA administrator.
Yeah, well, the former president, Donald Trump's going to be in East Palestine tomorrow. Mayor Pete said that's just a publicity stunt. I do remember when Mayor Pete took an SUV to work and then rode a bike the last 10 yards, so he might know a thing or two about that. What do you expect to see tomorrow from the president?
Look, since President Trump has talked about this issue, you've had a lot of people pay attention, and that's what we need. It's unfortunate that we didn't get this from the existing leadership, but the fact that President Trump is going out there, it shows that this community is not forgotten. There's still people paying attention, willing to help out their neighbor when they are in need, and that's what I expect to see from President Trump tomorrow. And with him, not only comes attention, but resources, and that's what will make the difference. You've had this administration, the FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Administration in particular, they've been denying requests from the state and local officials to deliver that type of aid. So President Trump showing up,
well, it's because,
it comes with
East
a lot of
Palestine's not
attention.
Ukraine. Yeah, if they called themselves Ukraine, they'd get all the money they need. All right, listen, thank you so much, Mandy. We really appreciate it. And we'll be covering Trump's visit there tomorrow.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.